Yeah, Windy Bill here. And I'm at the town site of Llano, California. And behind me is one of the large buildings that they built, the remains of it. And we're going to walk around today and explore this. Now, Llano is the ruins of a town that was developed. The idea came about around 1900. And he developed it, Job Harrisman. Okay, Job Harrisman was a prominent California socialist in the 1900s. In 1900, he ran for vice president on the Socialist Party of American ticket. In 1911 and 1930, he made competitive runs for the mayor of Los Angeles. You know, following all this, he didn't make it. Everything was not working out for him. So he kind of switched his path of his direction to another area that he liked. And he purchased 2,000 acres of land here in the Mojave Desert. It's kind of between Victorville and Palmdale. And he decided that he was going to build his own city. It was a colony officially opened in 1914 with just 5 residents. It was supposed to be a self-sufficient community with socialist principles. By 1915, it had grown to 150 people, and the population kept growing. In the summer of 1917, it had 1,100 residents full-time, and only would admit Caucasian residents. And it wasn't a racist situation. It was just their beliefs that in colonies it was one race only. You didn't mix races in that colony. They were, to him, everybody was the same, but you just didn't mix. Well, a famous designer, Alice Austin, developed the plans and the layout, architectural design of the city, and very influential planner for the city of Los Angeles. She worked on a lot of community stuff, where you'd have one kitchen, one laundry, and a centralized network of underground tunnels and rails going to each one of the houses, and each house wouldn't have to have a kitchen or other things they needed. Well, all this was eventually abandoned, and by 1918, they couldn't get the proper secure permits to build a dam up in the mountains behind us. Without that, they couldn't supply a very large amount of water. They had no water source that was legally theirs. And by 1918, they packed it all up and they moved to Louisiana, where they opened a town, New Llano, and operated it as a socialist community until 1937. And today, the town still exists. But the one here in California is off Highway 138, and it's really kind of an interesting place. And we're going to spend a few minutes walking around. Okay, this was one of the main big buildings. But with 2,000 acres, there's remains of some more. There's remains of a lot of it out there. If you notice, everything is built out of concrete and rock. You fence it in to protect it, and they come out and they steal your fence. But it was a beautiful old community. And this is such rich history that when the state decided to widen Highway 138 and improve it to a 4-lane road, they actually built the road. They had to make a jog in the road to build it around this, for this would not be damaged. We're going to spend just a little time looking around it today. Look at this, two massive, big fireplaces. And the building came clear back into here and back into there. It had a large basement. This was a pretty big building, main building. And over here, you can see how far this building went. It continued on out here. And off to our left side, be the west side, there was another large building. Now, one of the interesting facts, which we'll visit later on in this video, hopefully, is all the cement you see, they manufactured themselves. They would mine the limestone gypsum product that they needed, and from that they had kilns, 2 of them up on the side of the hill, where they was able to secure water, but not a large quantity. They would do the wet process and then cook it and fire it in the kilns and then grind it to create the cement that they needed. Okay, and here was one of the wells that they dug for the community. It's graded off, and it is quite deep. This was a hand-dug well. And this is where they got their water, but not a quantity of water they needed. We're going to walk out a little further. And you see there's more ruins here. A lot of universities come out here and they do studies on this place. They do archaeology digs. They look for old ruins. And people look at this and say, okay, they had buildings here. You look at the highway. Yeah, the highway didn't exist back then. We're talking 1914, 1918, 4 years. Few cattle ranches probably out here at the time. Palmdale had some buildings. Oh, that would have been probably back in that time period. That would have been a 2-day trip Off to the east, we have the Victor Valley now, but there wouldn't have been nothing there. The old Mormon Road, possibly. So they were really, really out in the middle of nowhere. Just imagine, you're the only people out here. I'm going to switch off at the moment, and we will come back to you when we get out and look at other ruins. Thank you very much. Okay, we hiked out to the back, came out with a vehicle. A lot of area to cover. We have a large, I'm going to say water tank at one time. Had a large pipe coming out of it. And if you look at this from Google Earth, you'll notice that that area out there has been plowed, furrowed for growing crops. And then here we have a large barn area. We have some fine cement, and that's rarely found around here. Fine gravel for cement. So it makes you wonder if they brought it in to backfill some holes they were drilling for archaeological purposes. But again, big barn, all cement. Had a nice level floor. So you wonder what type of animals they raised in here. You know they had to raise all their own vegetables, all their own food, their own meat. So we're talking probably cows, pigs, chickens, possibly turkeys. Okay, this would be the length of it. Not much left anymore. A lot of graffiti. Now further out, I'm going to walk out there in a minute, so I'll come back to you then. Okay, went further back. There's a reference where we were. Coming down here. This is really interesting what this was. I'm going to be willing to guess these were small animal pens. Because rocks were much easier to come by. They had their own cement. And probably much better than wood. And somebody's been digging around an old dump here. A lot of old cans. They'd probably bring them in via the wagon full. But this is an interesting piece of history. And it's easy to get to. It's right on a main highway. Thousands of people a day drive by it. And probably never even give it another thought. Or they look and go, oh, someone's house. Okay, we're going to relocate to another place. You know, 2,000 acres is a lot of room here to cover.